Olin, and we're actually going to start with a quick poll. So we're going to, let's see, bear with me. Uh-oh, it's not launching. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to our first speaker. I don't want to have you guys wait for the poll. We're going to start with the wonderful Robin Ronkes from the San Bernardino Department of Public Health. She has some really great data from Summer Meals 2022 to share with you. So go ahead and take it away, Robin.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. And what I'm doing today is presenting a survey that we did last summer. Let's see, do all of you see it? Full screen, good. Okay, and it was a project for one of our graduate students from Loma Linda University School of Public Health, who worked with our statistical analyst from our Department of Public Health. I want to give him credit for that. Just a little bit of background. We know that 21% of children live in poverty in San Bernardino County. It's been reported. And we know that poverty is one of the drivers of food insecurity. And 1 in 5 children experience food insecurity, as well as 13.4 households in the Riverside and San Bernardino metro area, includes both of them. We also know that in school year 22, 67% of students in San Bernardino County were eligible for free and reduced meals, and it was pretty much the same in Riverside as well. Okay, so the objective of the survey assessment was to obtain information about food insecurity, prevalence within the summer meals, those who participated, some of the challenges, barriers, access to summer meals, best promotion strategies, their satisfaction. We also looked a little bit at food waste and feedback from our sponsors. We went to 14 sites throughout the county, and we also got feedback from about 8 different sponsors. Here are some of the results and findings. And so in regards to food insecurity, the survey contained 2 validated questions to screen for food insecurity. So if they asked within the, we had 2 questions. One of them was, within the past 12 months, we worried whether our food would run out before we got money to buy more. And the second one was, within the past 12 months, the food we bought just didn't last and we didn't have money to get more. And so if they answered yes to either one of those questions, they were considered food insecure for our purposes. And so we had 54.5% of those households who took that survey reported that they were food insecure in that way. Okay, and we have to remember too that 72% of the household had between 2 and 4 children. So one household had multiple children in it. So of the 442 surveys representing households that are food insecure, about 73.5% shared that they are currently participating in the summer meal program, while over a fourth, or 26.5%, did not participate in summer meals. Another result from those who reported as food insecure, well, one of the things that we know is that many children and families are missing out on the program if they don't participate. And so we want to make sure to try to reach that 26.5% that aren't participating, that are food insecure. In regards to barriers, and we asked the question, has your child participated in summer meal program? And if no, why not? And this is the answer to the why not. And we see that 55% of the households who didn't participate in summer meal, it was because they were unaware of the program. And also there was another category that seemed to get a lot of responses. Some of the responses were they didn't have enough money to afford the gas. You know, at that time, gas was particularly high. Some had misinformation. For example, some believed that if they were in the CalFresh program, they couldn't participate in summer meals, or they didn't know whether or not they qualified for summer meals. So there is some misinformation that's going on. When we look at our households, 82% of our household live no more than 3 miles from summer meal sites. And so this may impact the decision on locations of open summer meal sites. 81% went by car and 16% actually walked to summer meal sites. And also for those that participated in the summer meal program, we asked, how did you find out about the summer meal program? And by far the enlarged, it's from the school, whether it's by flyer or a poster or banner. And also if you include the community, it's quite a percent that know about summer meals through flyers or banners. The other most popular reported promotion is internet and social media. And so that's really good. And then mail, it's about 11.5%. So this may provide you with strategies. For example, maybe you shouldn't be spending all your time trying to get that radio promotion because only 1.2% of the households actually learn about summer meals through that avenue, and maybe concentrate on some of the more popular ways in which people receive information and learn about summer meals. So now we know that too, that 92% overall were satisfied or very satisfied with the food. And so this is, we're knowing that our sponsors are really doing a great job in the food they provide to our community, to the children. It was also reported that 55% of the summer meal program respondents ate all the food and 26% ate most of the food, with only 19% eating only half or less. So a good portion are eating most or all of the food. And so we know too that this might be a good opportunity to train, or not to train, but to provide information on your traveling apple policy that states that summer food service providers, sponsors may allow children to take one non-perishable fruit, vegetable, or grain component from their meal or from a sharing table away from the summer food service program meal site for later consumption. And so this may be a good opportunity to educate your families too, so there's less food waste. So this question we asked, how likely is it that you would recommend the program to other families with children? And you can see by far and wide, over 89% said very likely they would recommend the program to other families. And so we know that our summer meal providers are doing a wonderful job out there. Now, moving on to questionnaire results, we were also able to collect 10 questionnaires from summer meal program sponsors listed here. Thank you to Ontario Montclair, Hesperia, San Bernardino City, Fontana, Redlands, Rialto, Fulton Joint, Unified, and the Chemehuevi Indian tribe, who gave their feedback in regards to the summer meal program. So looking at the first figure, we see that 5 out of 8 sponsors reported a decrease in participation in 2022 in comparison to 2021 at their summer meal sites, and that 7 out of 10 were satisfied or very satisfied in regard to the success of their summer meal program. This was also the first year going back to the way summer meal programs were previously run, and figure out how to transition back in person again. And here were their recommendations from and feedback from summer meal program staff sponsors. They reported lower participation, understaffing, and so that's why we are going to approach this subject today. Some families were not familiar with rules and regulations for normal summer programs. And their improvements, they want to do more promotion. They want to do earlier promotion. And I think that's important. And then clarify rules and regulations with families that attend the summer meal sites. And then also more enrichment activities to draw families to the summer meal sites and provide fun activities, learning activities for kids. And then also they wanted to partner with more community organizations and local organizations. And so by and far, the recommendations basically boil down to increasing awareness, better promotion strategies, and that might be something that you might want to work out as a team to figure out what is the best way to reach your families and your parents, parents, children. Maybe even consider kickoffs or a summer celebration participation, something at a back to school event to increase participation during the summer. And then also talk about collaboration and partner with organizations to provide enrichment activities and promote your summer meal sites and events. And in our next 2 meetings, we will be introducing you to many of our summer meal community partners that you may be able to partner with during the summertime. And then we do, through our county, we have a dashboard, and this dashboard is available to summer meal sponsors to look at. We are still going through a little bit of the bugs and modifying it, but it should be available soon. So you can look at specifically even for your own school district. And that's it. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Robin. That was really helpful information, and hopefully something that everybody can apply to their work for summer. And then also, I know most of you will want to take a closer look at those numbers, so we will be sure to share out the slides after the meeting is over. Someone also informed me that you guys got a little pop-up of the polls, so it looks like there's a little delay there. We're going to attempt it one more time because we want to know who's in the room today. Andrea Hilliar, who is my Nook and Hungry colleague, can you give it a go? Let's see if we can launch poll question number 1.
It's on my end, it shows. I'm not sure if others can see it on their screens.
Nope, we're not seeing it. Okay. Okay, well, that's quite all right. We will move right along without the polls. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, we're trying that. It's it worked during our test run, but for whatever reason now it's, oh, there it is. Maybe it's just a delay. Okay. There's the poll. It's running now. Okay. We're going to end the poll. So we have the majority of participants in the room are school districts. We have some county, city, and state agencies. We have a community partner and some other. Okay. Next question. Summer meals. Where do you stand on summer celebrations, kickoff, spike events? Are you planning on having a summer event? Interested, but maybe need more information and assistance? Have no interest in doing a summer event, and not applicable if you are not a summer sponsor. Okay, I think most of our answers are in. Okay. And we have some of you that are planning on having a summer event, some of you that might be thinking about it. Okay. And we're going to do one more question here. What types of sites would you like to serve summer meals to this year? Go ahead and check all that apply. Your options are school sites, city parks and facilities, youth camps, Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, church camps, libraries, local housing neighborhoods, and other. Okay, I think we have most. Oh, there's still some answers coming in. Thank you so much. And let's see those results. Vast majority of you are looking at serving at school sites. A good amount of you are looking at city parks and facilities, youth camps, 26%, 30% libraries, 19% local housing and neighborhoods. So thank you so much for answering that question. I'm going to try our very last one before we go into our next speaker. And this is an important question. We wanted to ask you, what are your biggest barriers to implementing your summer program this year? This is also a check all. Finding staff to serve meals, supply chain issues, sourcing food, not enough administrative capacity to plan, not enough sites that qualify for SSO or SFSP, promotion, or coordinating with your district summer school planning. And this will help us with providing technical assistance this year. Okay, and I think we have most of our answers. Give you one more moment. Okay, I'm gonna launch the results so you guys can see. And no surprise, number one answer, finding staff to serve meals, followed by supply chain issues, administrative capacity. So thank you so much for sharing that information with us. We very much appreciate it. With that, we're going to move on to our very first guest speaker. He's a rock star in his own right. Gurjeet Barayah is the Senior Manager at School Nutrition Programs, Grants, and Grants Administration Section. You may recognize him from the CE's Town Hall meetings or Universal Meals Listening Sessions. Gurjeet has been with the department for nearly 9 years, filling roles ranging from compliance to program implementation. We are very glad to have him join us today to share the latest in summer meals policy and updates. So I'm going to pass it over to Gurjeet. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Robin, and thank you everybody for having me and allowing me to speak, especially in some of these smaller, non-town hall, non-webinar really meetings that we can kind of take a little bit deeper dive, and really great to see kind of the responses and the local challenges from those polls and the data that that Robin shared earlier within your counties. Just always great to have that kind of information. So today I've prepared just a short handful of slides. If you guys were on the town hall that we hosted last week, you'll see some of the similar themes and similar content. But really, kind of as we start gearing up early for this summer, really looking at the things that are new for summer meals. So really, USDA. We're quickly transitioning out of the pandemic. I know a lot of those flexibilities kind of expired last summer, and as we look forward to this year, the USDA is implementing some of their final rule, which it is going to change some operational items for local program sponsors. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So before we kind of dive in, I do just want to always remind folks, and you'll probably get tired of hearing us say this, but we beat this drum early and often, during the winter and into the spring. So for those of you who are going to be operating summer food service program, just remember those applications are due by May 15th or 30 days prior to starting meal service operations. So whichever comes first. Really, as our staff is going through and we have to validate area eligibility, we want to make sure that we have enough time to provide technical assistance and get those applications approved. And then also, really, this is our way as a state agency to encourage folks to start planning early and to start getting communication out to families. I mean, Robin showed it earlier in the data, really that outreach and that making sure that families are aware of where meals are served, when they're served. If we can knock that barrier out of the way, hopefully, we'll see meal participation return to what we saw in the before times, as I like to call it. Looking forward, so every year the USDA does announce summer food service program reimbursement rates. So the rates that you guys see on your slide here were just announced earlier in January, and these will apply for all meals served under the summer food service program through the end of this calendar year. If you're jotting these numbers down, don't worry. We are preparing a listserv and we're updating our web pages, but I believe the slide deck will also be shared. So just do want to call out, you see 2 columns. So the middle column on your screen, that's for rural or self-prep sites. They get a little bit higher reimbursement than sites that are either vended or located in urban areas for summer food service program purposes. The new normal. So I mentioned kind of early on in my introduction, the USDA did finally pass their summer food service program final rule titled Streamlining Program Requirements and Improving Program Integrity. For those of you who have been in the nutrition game for some time, you may remember, I think back in 2018, the Office of Inspector General conducted a nationwide audit of the summer food service program, and this this rulemaking process really was kind of USDA's response to some of the feedback that they got as part of that audit. And really kind of, I see the changes kind of going into two buckets. One is, changes to program requirements, and then the other is really codifying some of the policies that the USDA had been implementing previously, but that hadn't been spelled out in regulation. So from an auditor's perspective, that's a no-no. We should always see the regulation comes first and then policy comes after. So the first update really actually expands on meal service time requirements and gives local operators more flexibility. So what the new meal service time requirements spell out is that breakfast simply has to be served close to the beginning of the day, and that for the remainder of your meal services, you have to have at least 1 hour elapse between the end of one meal service and the start of another. So this actually, it allows for meal times to be closer together than they were in the past. The other piece of flexibility the USDA has codified here is a streamlined approval process for agencies that participate in the child and adult care food program, who are also applying to participate in the summer meal programs. So what it does is it allows the state agencies to establish policies that we can look at some of the application pieces for the CACFP and take that information and use it as a part of the summer food service program application. So it will help to streamline that for agencies that are operating multiple child nutrition programs. One of the pieces that are being codified, and Robin actually mentioned this in her presentation earlier on, is the traveling apple provision. So this is one of those pieces of policy that, as far back as I can remember, has existed in the summer food service program. And that traveling apple is now, it's codified in regulation, and allows for for students to be able to take one item off of off-site for consumption. So we're glad to see that that's actually into the final regulation now. And then not necessarily a new rule, but just a reminder that area eligibility, right? Though that data is good for a period of 5 years, and you can establish that eligibility using school or census data. If you guys have seen me speak, I've talked a lot about community eligibility provision over the years, and I really encourage operators to treat area eligibility in the same way that we have for a long time looked at community eligibility. And what I mean by that is, once you establish that area eligibility, it's good for a period of 5 years. And so even if you establish area eligibility last year, you're 1 year into that expiration period. And if you take a look at that data this year and the data is good and it says that, hey, you are area eligible, reestablish that. It resets the timeline. And so, just continuing to stay on top of that, because I know, we are seeing changes in, and shifts in the post-pandemic world of eligibility and need. And so just staying on top of that, because that really helps for operators to be able to protect the integrity of their programs and make sure that that the program is available to as many kids as possible. Some other changes that are coming for summer were actually spelled out in a different piece of legislation, and this was in the fiscal year 2023 Consolidated Appropriations Act. And it really carries two pretty significant changes coming down the line for the summer food service program. The first is an option for operators to be able to provide non-congregate meals within specific circumstances. And then the second is the establishment of a permanent summer EBT program. So we'll talk a little bit about that before I wrap up. So for the non-congregate feeding option, we are expecting an interim final rule to come in December of 2023. So that's actually at the end of this calendar year. So this is a rare instance in which the USDA is actually allowing state agencies to begin implementation of a program before it's codified in regulations at all. So for this upcoming summer 2023, we will be able to establish guidance that allows sites that are located in rural areas that do not have any non-congregate meal service in that area, to be able, or limited to rural sites where there is not an existing congregate meal service site. So, if you're located in a part of the county where there is no feeding site, there's not a congregate meal option for students, it does allow sites in those instances to be able to serve meals in a non-congregate manner. So students can take those meals home and not have to be on site to consume those. In these instances, we do know that area eligibility rules will still apply. So that requirement is there, but this does really open the door for some more flexibility and hopefully the ability to reach more children, through the summer food service programs. I do want to just emphasize again, we don't have a final regulation on this. And so, what the program looks like in the long term may be very different than what is implemented for this summer. But we are expecting that we'll get some type of guidance from the USDA on what flexibilities we can implement. But at CDE, we're also working on establishing what that criteria will look like. And we'll spell that out through policy and also through our summer mandatory training. And then last is the summer EBT, so permanent summer EBT. So this, unlike the non-congregate feeding piece, this EBT program won't begin until summer 2024. And just like the non-congregate, we do expect to see an interim final rule introduced by December 2023 as well. And this would essentially establish a permanent summer EBT program where children who are eligible for free or reduced price meals would get a $40 per month EBT benefit. This one again is, there's that old adage, the devil is always in the details. But we do know that the USDA, they've said that they're going to look to some best practices that they established in response to the pandemic EBT program that's been running for the past few years. But this will be a program that we work with the Department of Social Services to help implement. So more information on this to come, certainly, probably towards the end of the year as we get guidance from USDA. But it is, we do expect that it will be a program that is made permanent. So yeah, I think that is my last slide. So that wraps up my piece, and I'll transition it back to Robin.
Thank you so much, Gurjeet. Amazing information as always. I know there's going to be questions for you. So if you can hang on for a little bit, we will open up the Q&A after our last presentation. Thank you again. We're going to move right along. We have another wonderful speaker joining us today, Megan Cook. She holds a SNS credential and title of Director of Child Nutrition Services for Corona Norco Unified School District. The district has 52 school sites and serves more than 53,000 students. CNUSD operates 27 summer feeding sites, which include summer school sites, libraries, parks and rec, and apartment complexes. So I'm very pleased to introduce Megan Cook. You can go ahead and share your slides and take it away. And Megan, if you're talking, I think you might be on mute. We don't hear you.
There you go. I couldn't find my unmute in this what is the word format.
No problem.
All right. All right, guys. Well, thank you for having me. I represent Corona Norco School District Child Nutrition Services. We love our summer program. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. We operate the seamless summer option. So it began with us only serving at our school sites. We would operate about 13 school sites that ran during our existing summer school. It was a great resource, but what we found was that our summer programs at the elementary level lasted 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month if they were at our Title I schools. And that really didn't feel very seamless to us. It felt like, awesome, we're giving kids a resource for a couple weeks and then we're ripping it away from them. We found that when that we needed to do better, right? We needed to do better for our students and better for our community. We did try keeping those sites open for the community, but without summer school, we just weren't receiving the foot traffic we needed to keep it going. So we asked ourselves the question, like, what can we do as a program to really make it seamless, right? What does seamless mean to us? It means that our kids are not left trying to figure out where their food is going to come from. So we worked with some community partners. A quick and easy one for us was lunch at the library. Come for the food and stay for the fun. Their programs operate all summer long. They do engaging activities that enrich our students. For example, creating composting systems that they could take home, and just all kinds of really cool, they get to learn how to make but honey comes from bees, and just really cool food related enrichment that they tag into this school seamless summer feeding program.
Megan, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. If you're advancing your slides, we can't see them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we just see the first slide. If you'd like, I can always share on my end too.
Yeah, we might need to, because I'm advancing them, but they're not, and it shows that I'm sharing it.
Oh,
So
okay.
maybe we can switch to you guys advancing them for me.
Not a problem.
All right, I will let you, I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay. And I will go ahead and share on my end.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, wonderful. That's how it started. We're going to go ahead and jump one more slide. All right, here's how it's going. Okay, so we did jump on to the lunch at the library program, which was a great start for us. That included 2 libraries, and one was the Corona Regional Library and the other one was Home Gardens. Next, we found an opportunity to expand into apartment complexes. The apartment complexes we chose, we found it was really through our meal application process, through the process of sibling extension. We using the POS that we were using at the time, we were seeing a lot of families who were living in the same address, but different apartment units. And so we were able to see, hey, these are really high free and reduced buildings. And then come after a little bit of digging, we found out, oh, these are actually Section 8 housing developments. And then in connecting with our transportation department, we were able to determine that these are apartment complexes that have to be bused to their school locations, meaning that they aren't necessarily close enough to walk to any of the elementary schools that were offering the Seamless Summer program. So with those components in place, we decided they would be a great pilot opportunities to test out the apartment complex summer feeding. It is extremely popular. One of them is literally right next to a McDonald's. So we position our free summer meals sign on the fence, and parents who are driving into the McDonald's parking lot can actually just choose to get free meals at the apartment complex next door. So it's a really cool system that we have. These are also locations where we have a lot of latchkey kids, right? We have a lot of parents who are working more than one job, or mom and dad are both at work. And so a lot of these kids that are at these apartment buildings, they're home alone all day anyway. So it's a great opportunity for us to provide that food for them. Through making connections through our Corona Chamber of Commerce, we were able to establish really great relationships with our Parks and Recreation Department. So through those connections, we found another way to create a seamless feeding opportunity by offering summer meals at Parks and Rec. What's great about our Parks and Rec is it starts offering childcare literally the day after school closes, and it is in session literally till the day before school starts. So that was the key for us. We were really able to just create this seamless opportunity for students. It is centrally located right in the middle of our district. We have tons of our own students who take advantage of those summer resources that they offer as well. And that is our highest volume summer feeding site that we have. We also have, it's district ran, we have the Corona Norco Parent Center, which runs programs all summer long for students and also for parents. And they offer childcare while they're offering service to parents, and we do that one as well. Next slide, please. All right, so our business models, it depends on what kind of site we're operating. If it's a school site, we provide staff. It's our child nutrition services staff. The food is cooked on site. And the way we operate this feeding is the students will eat, they'll have their recess. Then once they're back in the classroom, we open the site for the rest of the community. That way we're able to really be mindful of safety and how parents might feel about, strangers coming onto campus and stuff like that. We also have our community sites. We do not provide staff for our community sites. That's one of the ways that we make this feasible from a profit and loss standpoint, because labor in California is expensive. We train their staff and we monitor their staff, our supervisory team, but they are providing their own program employees or program volunteers to actually hand out the food. The food is made in our central kitchen, and we deliver the food to their sites and pick it up after their meal service. And we require all of these programs to feed the children enrolled in their program, and they were also required to have that community access. All right, next slide, please. All right, so how can we improve? We always want to make it better. Right now, our goal is to figure out how can we increase in community engagement. Last school year, we implemented a barbecue team at our school sites. That was extremely popular. We're going to expand that to our community sites this year, so we're really excited about that. We are also starting to plan our first ever community kickoff event. We're going to invite the police and fire. We're trying to create like a touch a truck experience. And we're also going to work on possibly implementing a school meals tasting event at our community parks and rec. All right, next slide. This is just an example of how profitable summer meals can be for us. We earned just under $900,000. And as you know, we don't offer staff or community sites. So we are a program that was operating in the red before the pandemic. So by offering, by making this extra revenue during the summer, it really helps us negate some of that deficit spending that we were creating. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Megan. And thank you to our speakers. I'm actually going to pass it over to Dr. Betty Crocker, your Director of Child Nutrition over at Redlands Unified School District. She is going to lead the Q&A part of our call.